Hey guys, Jason here. Welcome back to another video on my channel. And today, I just want to do a video about some of the differences between EDM and techno. Because there are some differences, but in a lot of ways, the two genres are very, very, very similar to each other. But there also are some very major differences. And so, yeah. And when I first started getting into electronic music, I don't know, it was a couple years ago, maybe-ish. And I started, listening to EDM and all that stuff. I would just always call it EDM techno. I would just call it the same. I would just call everything techno. Because that's just what I wanted to call it. And I always kept getting corrected by one of my friends. You know him because he leaves comments on these videos. But it was actually him that kept saying, oh, no, it's, techno is way different than EDM, blah, blah, blah. You don't listen to real techno, blah, 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 it's EDM. And I would show him the stuff that I was listening to at the time, which was EDM. And, yeah, eventually I realized, the differences, but even, some people, when you first want to get into electronic music, you don't know about all the different genres and whatnot, then a lot of it is similar in, certain ways, so you'll just call it one thing or whatnot. Anyway, so, one of the first major differences that I wanted to get into about these two genres is that EDM and techno, which I'll talk about the similarities too at the end. The first major difference is EDM and techno. The way that they're different is that EDM, electronic dance music, primarily is a more broad genre. And you could kind of say that techno really could be a subgenre of EDM, but a lot of the EDM that is out there, it's kind of in those own form, like big room or hard style. Those are the main subgenres of actual EDM. And then, yeah, techno is just, I guess, its own genre, or technically you could put it in a subgenre of EDM, but I just call it its own genre. Because when people think of EDM, they really think of big room or hard style and stuff like that. But yeah, one of the differences kind of is that techno, people call it its own genre, and EDM has some genres in it that are in different flavors of actual EDM. Anyway, next difference is that techno primarily focuses on the beat, where EDM, it does have a beat to it, but it primarily focuses more on synth work, and EDM is more, I want to say, popish. It kind of sounds more like something that, your normal average Joe would actually want to dance to, whatnot. That's why it's, that's why the synths are so, that's why there's a lot of hooks in certain styles of EDM, like big room. In techno, you don't really get a hook all that much. Yeah, maybe in a drop, but there's really no hook per se. But in techno is in my opinion, techno is more, experimental, so that too. And I just like more experimental stuff. I'm that kind of guy, so that's why I like techno better. And yeah, so that's another difference, is that EDM has a more synth work and has like catchier hooks, and even in the drops, catchier hooks. And techno, primarily, yes, it still have like a synth work, and it still sometimes has hooks. But it's more focused on the beat. And yeah, next difference is that for EDM, the drops and the build-ups to the drops are more noticeable. Like, for example, they use different effects, like they use it, like, I could kind of try to do it like a like, that would be an example of it, like an EDM style drop, I guess. That's just an example that I tried to do. But in techno, the build-ups, there are build-ups, but they're kind of less noticeable, but you can still like really notice them a lot. And they have like different effects than, sometimes they use techno sounding effects in EDM too, but techno doesn't really have that or the raising of pitch effect that EDM does. And then yeah, the drops are more noticeable because of that. But there is some techno that doesn't really, like, especially older techno, like 90s techno or 2000s techno. If you go back and like listen to like all that techno, especially like the later 90s stuff, more the early 90s stuff kind of sounds like EDM. Like an old style of EDM. But if you go back and listen to the late 90s stuff, like Spice Lab, and the early 2000s stuff, like all that stuff, and if you go back and listen to that stuff, it's, sometimes you don't even notice a build up, it just drops. And I like that stuff because it's more experimental and all that stuff. But in like that older techno, just drops. Boom. Like, there's not really a build up, or if there is, it's very small, unlike modern EDM. So yeah. What's another difference? Oh, another difference is that a lot of techno songs are usually longer. So EDM could usually range, like, EDM is your normal average length of your song, like 2 to 5 minutes. There are some techno songs that are short, but your average techno song is actually longer. It's like, it can usually range to like 6 to 12 minutes ish. Like, your average, I would say, is like 7 minutes for a techno song. It's a little longer than a typical EDM song. And so, yeah. Trying to think if there was any other differences. Not off the top of my head right now. But similarities, I guess. Alright, EDM and techno, they kind of have the same sort of style beat. It's kind of like that. But EDM uses, what would I say? A lot more drums and stuff. Like, I mean, you hear it in techno. Just, it's a different kit, and you don't notice it all this much. But yeah, the beats a lot of times are kind of similar. And also, too, it just depends on the track. But most of the time, techno and EDM have a similar kind of drum beat to them. Oh, and one more difference. EDM, I would say in general, uses more effects. Yes, you have effects in techno. You have sounds. You have all that stuff. I would say, actually, that techno, if you're using effects, is more like actual sounds. EDM, it's, effects that are loops, like the transition effects that I showed you in GarageBand. But in techno, it's more effects that sound like actual sounds, instead of just music. I don't know how to explain that, but, yeah. So, I'm trying to think of any more differences or similarities that I didn't already mention. I guess I pretty much covered all of them that I noticed. So, yeah. I would say that hardcore techno, just to wrap up this video, I would say that hardcore techno workout, yes, it's techno, it's all that stuff, but I would say that the breakdown, it's more simpy. You could, if you really wanted to, you could just count that breakdown as sounding EDM-ish, but, it's primarily techno, also with Delirium and Sugar Rush and all that stuff, and yeah. So, yeah, so if you like the video, give it a thumbs up and leave a comment and tell me your thoughts. Tell me if you notice any other differences between the two genres. And I could do a video on new techno versus old techno. I can do a video on that later, if you guys want me to. So, yeah, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I haven't been using my intro all that much, only because I don't want it to get old, because now it's an actual song, and, I don't want it to get boring. And that's why I've kind of just stopped using the intro and outro throughout the couple last videos. Just because I don't want the songs themselves, like, every time you watch a video, you have to hear soon, or whatever. I just wanted to point that out at the end of the video, because I just wanted to tell you why that I haven't been using my intro throughout the last couple videos. So, yeah, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment. Again, tell me your thoughts about the differences of the genres, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.